Hello everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to debug UXP scripts. Now as of right now, UXP is out for several different Adobe applications, Photoshop being the oldest, and most recently, as you know, Premiere Pro Beta got UXP support. But currently in Premiere Pro Beta, there's only support for UXP plugins. These are the kind of interface-driven extensions that we can create, and it doesn't quite have full support for scripting yet. It shows up in Adobe UXP Developer Tools, but as of right now, we can only debug in some certain programs. But this tutorial, I'm assuming, will apply for Premiere Pro in the future once scripting becomes available. And in fact, if you go to the UXP documentation for Premiere Pro, there is a section about UXP scripting, but the link takes you just to the API reference, which references JavaScript, CSS, HTML, aka plugins. So although we're going to be debugging a Photoshop script today to show you how to debug in general for UXP scripts, in the future, this will apply for other programs as they gain support. And of course, before we get started, check out the links in the description. You can buy things on my AE Scripts page to help support the channel. You can subscribe and check out all the other links down below. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and load up my existing UXP script I have set up in Photoshop, and it's not recognizing the syntax, so we'll just need to find JavaScript. I guess we could do JavaScript React, but I think normal JavaScript is fine. So with today's script, we're going to be changing the label color, aka the color that is next to this eye icon, for fill layers. So to create a new fill layer, we'll go to Layer, New Fill Layer, create a solid color, and this is going to allow us to choose a color. And here's an example of a solid color fill layer. We have just a normal layer, but it also has this color section which we can double click on and change the color. I'm going to create another one by just copying and pasting it and change it to a different color. And let's create one more. Let's make this one maybe yellowish color. And so what the goal of this script is, and what the functionality does, and what the goal and functionality of the script does, is it's going to take a look at each of these fill layers, and it's going to change the label color so that it matches whatever solid color or is closest to this solid color selected. So now that we have our script loaded up and we have our Photoshop document set up, we're going to make sure we select our fill layers, which basically we need to select some layers for the script to run. And we're going to go into Adobe Developer Tools, and we're going to load up Adobe UXP Developer Tools. And as long as you have Photoshop or whatever app you're debugging in open, you'll see this debug script button. All we have to do is hit debug script, and then it's going to ask us to drop or select our PS.js file. In the case of Photoshop UXP scripts, we're going to be looking at PS.js files. So I'll go ahead and select my fill layer script here. And now that it's selected, all we have to do is hit debug. This is going to launch the DevTools debug. And from what I can tell, it always sort of breaks or freezes at the very first line of code. As soon as we hit this resume script execution button, the rest of the code is going to try and run. If you look inside of Photoshop, it's kind of stuck on loading this script debugger. That is because in our developer tool window here, we are stuck here, not stuck, but we're waiting to proceed of this first line of code. So if I was to just hit resume script execution, my script is going to run all the way through as much as it knows how. And in this case, you can see we have a red label for this red solid, a blue label for this blue one, and what looks like a gray or dark colored one for this yellow one. Maybe this is a bit of code that needs a bit of fixing. So let's go ahead and actually just keep it the way it was, and we'll reset all of these. Let's learn how to debug now and figure out why this yellow layer is turning gray. One interesting thing is sometimes your code may collapse the debug window, so you'll just have to reselect your file and then debug. So now, how do we debug this and figure out what's going on? First off, this script is something that I haven't created on this channel before. I'm just using it as an example. But this script, essentially, as you know, takes the selected layers, looks at the solid color of any of the solid layers, and tries to guess which label should be used. Basically, all you need to know is there's a get closest label color function. One for each of the labels. We have red, orange, yellow, green, seafoam, blue, indigo, magenta, fuchsia, and violet, and gray. And these contain the approximate RGB values for each of these. And each time we run get closest lab color, we're coming in with an RGB to compare it to. And if the distance, or whichever one of these has the least distance from our RGB value, sort of the luminosity difference almost, then that's going to be our closest label. Now, in the case that we're getting not the yellow one, we're getting some other color, we need to figure out why. So let's go ahead and find where we call this function. So in terms of our code, we're going through our active document and all of our selected layers. For each of our selected layers, we're running the process layers function. That's fine. And now in the process layer function, this is where the meat of everything is happening. First, we retrieve the layer descriptor by the current layer. This basically means based on this layer ID for the current layer being provided, get me some information about it. This descriptor is going to contain things like, is it an adjustment layer? Is it a solid color layer? And that's what we're checking for in this if statement here. Then if it passes, we know that we can get color data from it. This is how we're getting the color data. So I want to see what that color data is. Let's go ahead and set a breakpoint by clicking on the line number. A breakpoint, if you're not familiar, is going to stop the code when it reaches this point. When it stops the code, we can actually highlight over things and see what their values are. Then we're going to keep going, and you can see here we're going to grab the RG and B values for our color. I'm going to add a breakpoint after this on the line where we get the closest label. The closest label, we're providing the found RGB of our solid layer, and we're going to again check which one of these existing predefined label colors is it closest to. And then lastly, it does a console log if it detects the closest label or if there's an error. And that's another cool thing is similar to UXP plugins, we have access to the console. So instead of having to alert messages and super slow methods like that, we can simply console log them. So let's go ahead. Again, we're stopped here at the initial line. We're going to go forward. And as you can see now, we've reached this section of the code. For the current description, this is our descriptor of our layer. You can see it's got all of the properties of our layer, whether it's adjustments, if it's got a background, all kinds of useful data. It's already checked if it has this adjustment property, if there's an array within it, and if it's a solid color layer. So what is our color data? Actually, we need to go a line past it to actually see what the data is, because when we stop on a line of code, it hasn't executed it yet. So color data is currently empty, but if I go ahead and hover over all this data here, what are we setting the color data to? Here's the value: blue 31, grain 255, which should be green. I wonder if that's a typo on UXP's part, and that's why we have this bit of code here to fix that. And then red. So these are the values that are coming in. Let's go ahead and set a breakpoint for this RGB value. You can see we're just going to skip over the color data, and now the color data, that line's been processed, so the color data has all the information we need in there. Blue 31, grain 255, and red 241. You know, there's a common theme with these UXP videos, is that in almost every UXP video I've made, there's been typos or issues that I find as I'm recording them. Anyway, we're now going to set the RGB value, and we really just want to go forward to this closest label. Inside of the closest label color function, let's go ahead and set a breakpoint at closest label at the very end. We'll resume. And as you can see here, we actually have some really cool, useful information being displayed. The RGB argument coming in is the one we just looked at, 241, 255, 31. And if we highlight over closest label, it's saying the closest label here is yellow. And looking at our project, that should be correct. In this case, we're not running through 3 layers, we're running just through our yellow layer. So when we got the information saying that it was not a yellow label, why would that be? Let's see. Let's go ahead and resume. You can see it set it to gray. Actually, I think this is like a custom color. Let's run the script again, but with this blue fill. Debug, select, run the script, debug, and continue. Okay, our data is valid here. Our RGB is 255, 90, and 0. It's quite blue or green. And then let's make sure we have a breakpoint here. Yep, our closest label you can see is blue. So we can see all the values coming through here and make adjustments if required. A lot of just the debugging in UXP here is setting breakpoints and console logging information. I forgot to show you that. If I go ahead and you can see there's no things that have been logged yet. If I go ahead and set, say, some breakpoints on these console logs and continue, looks like we get a bit of a crash. If we wanted to, maybe we just wanted to add a console log on a whole bunch of lines, just like A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, just to see, you know, where we're getting. Set a breakpoint there, I think. Go ahead and debug our script again. And now I'm going to demonstrate how we can see the console log information. Inside of our set or process layer, we should actually be getting there. Let's go ahead and go forward. Now if we look in our console, you can see we have A1 and A2 displayed. We've hit a breakpoint, so it hasn't continued past it. But if you wanted to, you could console log any of this information if you don't want to just browse it like this. Okay, so continuing on, we'll run this for this red layer as well. I know we can select all of them, but we're just doing it one at a time to see how things are running. And in this case, so we can go to this, oh wait, set color, red. You can see in our console, there's some information. We detected a solid fill layer with these RGB colors, and the closest label is red. So that's accurate. It's going to go through and apply that red. Let's lastly try and figure out why this yellow one isn't turning yellow. Let's go ahead and make a color that is like exactly yellow. To do that, we'll need to go 255 on the R and G channels. I think that should be fine. Let's select these two layers. Go to UXP Developer Tool and debug our script. Go forward. You can probably remove some of these here. So the closest label first is yellow, and on the second one, it's also yellow. So something's wrong with the yellow color here. Let's go ahead and actually make a couple more. Let's make like a purple one, make a green one, maybe an orange one, and run it on all of these, just to see if it's just the yellow giving us this issue. It could be I'm using the incorrect name, for example, but let's find out. Okay, I'm just going to zoom through these. You can also, a quick tip, under all of these operations to go forward and stuff, you can also check out the current block information. So this will tell you things like the current variables you're stopped on, and also display them over here. But again, easiest thing is just to highlight over stuff and it will tell you what's going on. So as you can see, this one turned fuchsia, this one turned red, this one turned orange, this one turned... So as you can see, this did everything properly except for the yellows. The purplish pink turned to this magenta one, green turned to green, orange to orange, red to red, blue to blue. But yellow's not working. So I'm thinking not necessarily that it's not like it's not detecting the yellow. It showed us with our debugging that it was yellow. It must be the name we're using or something to make it yellow. One thing I'm interested to see is we have console logs. Let's do this console log here to see if it fails at doing the changes or if it's just somehow applying it incorrectly. So I'll debug and go forward. Once we set the first color, let's see what it says. Detected solid fill, closest label yellow. Label ID 5 changed to yellow. So it thinks it's changing it to yellow, but it's not. It should be like this. So all of the colors are coming in as lowercase. I wonder if yellow is different. Let's take our closest label where we get that. And let's just say closest label is equal to closest label first, to uppercase. Actually, let's force it. What I'm going to do is just say yellow. So first, we're going to make sure that it forces everything to try and be that yellow color and see if it's doing it incorrectly. And I'm going to go ahead and remove my breakpoint so it just runs through the code when I run it. I'm guessing if I run it as well, you can just run the script through here as well by scripts, browse, and just select it as a non-debug. And it seems to turn those all this grayish color. So let's try capital Y yellow, debug, run. Nothing. We can try all capital yellow, perhaps. And if this doesn't work, I'm wondering if I just found an actual bug. Or maybe I can reverse engineer it with Alchemist, if you're familiar with Alchemist. Yeah, it seems to not be working. But the thing is, if I force everything to be, say, blue, I feel like this is gonna work. Yeah, it turned it blue, but yellow's not working. So let me launch Alchemist and see what's happening. If you're not familiar, Alchemist can be used to get actions information, which is kind of how I rebuilt this script. So I'm gonna listen for when I change this to yellow. And I'll stop listening. Look at that. It uses something called yellow color. But if I was to listen and change this to red, it's just red. So as you can see, we need to change it to yellow color. So if closest label is equal to yellow, closest label should really equal yellow color. Now, we're going to select all of our layers here in Photoshop. We're going to launch UXP Developer Tool and debug our script, hopefully one last time. Debug. Run. There we go. So this tutorial may have been going on longer than you thought, but that's part of the debugging process, and that's important to know. Even with something as simple as this yellow color, you'd think it would just be yellow because the other ones are red or green or any simple names like that. But it ends up being more complicated than you thought. This can be one of the things with new coding setups like UXP. Not everything's been done properly. Sometimes things need revisions and feedback from artists like us. You saw as well the RGB for some reason is coming in as red, grain, and blue. A simple typo, but that can really mess up your products if you don't catch it. And how do you catch it? You load up your scripts to debug inside of Adobe UXP Developer Tools, debug your script, add breakpoints, see what variables are coming across as you're testing code, and make changes to make sure everything flows smoothly and your script works properly. And once again, this is currently available in a couple of applications. Premiere not yet, but assuming in the future that it will be, and then once After Effects is introduced, you'll also debug your scripts from inside of here, just like you can in Photoshop. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any more suggestions for tutorials or UXP related stuff, leave them in the comments down below. Again, check out the links in the description as well. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.